Hello and welcome to e-GMAT. We will solve question number 71 of OG Verbal 2nd edition by using e-GMAT 3-step process. In the first step, we will understand the meaning of the sentence. In the second, we will evaluate the errors in the sentence, and finally we will review all the answer choices to get to the correct answer. So let's begin. Analysts blamed May's sluggish retail sales on unexciting merchandise as well as the weather, colder and wetter than was usual in some regions, which slowed sales of barbecue grills and lawn furniture. This sentence presents a few facts. It says that according to analysts, two factors brought down May's retail sales. The first factor was merchandise that failed to attract customers. The second was the weather, which was colder and wetter than usual in some regions. The cold and wet weather slowed down the sales of barbecue grills and lawn furniture. Now let us evaluate the errors by splitting this sentence into its clauses. So here comes the first clause. Analysts blamed May's sluggish retail sales on unexciting merchandise as well as the weather, colder and wetter than was usual in some regions. Here analysts is the subject and blamed is the verb. Presence of which brings us to another clause that reads, which slowed sales of barbecue grills and lawn furniture. Here which is the subject and slowed is the verb. Now the verb was in this sentence has no subject, so we have subject verb must exist error here. If was is removed, then this error will be rectified. Also, the which clause modifies cold and wet weather. Being a relative pronoun clause, it must be placed closer to the entity it modifies. But the way it is placed now, it seems to refer to regions, which is nonsensical. Alternatively, this modifier may be construed to modify the fact that weather was colder and wetter than usual. Now, which modifier, being a noun modifier, cannot modify the action, and hence we have a modifier error in this sentence. Well, these are the two errors here, and let's run the POE to find out which one is the correct answer. Well, choice A is certainly not correct as we discussed just now. Choice B is the correct answer because now which clause has been correctly placed after weather, and verb ing slowing down correctly states the effect of the preceding clause. Let's take a look at choice C. Well, choice C is wrong firstly because use of usually is incorrect here. Since the word describes weather, a noun, it should be adjective usual. Also, this choice repeats the same modifier error as in choice A. Hence, choice C is not correct. Choice D repeats the same usually error as in choice C, and also comma plus being seems to describe the preceding clause referring to the subject-verb pair analysts blamed, which is not correct because comma plus being should actually be referring to weather. So for these errors, choice D is not correct. Let's take a look at choice E. Well, choice E repeats the same modifier error as in choice D, and it also repeats the same subject-verb must exist error as in choice A. So as we found out earlier, choice B is the correct answer for this sentence. Let's take a look at the takeaway messages now. Every verb in the sentence must have a subject. Also, relative pronoun clauses must be placed as close to the entities they modify as possible. And we must use adverb form of word to describe a verb, and we must use adjective to describe nouns. Modifiers must be placed correctly to convey the intended meaning of the sentence in the most effective manner. The concepts tested in this sentence have been covered in e-GMAT concepts. Level 1 subject verb must exist, Level 1 correcting modifier errors, and Level 2 relative pronouns.